Hi everyone, this is Alex from Ninja Teacher and I am in Cambodia here in Phnom Penh at a really nice hotel with a rooftop pool. Got a good discounted rate on this hotel. You can see we're right in the center of Phnom Penh. So I'm going to take you around for the few days that I'm here in Cambodia for just doing a trip from Vietnam. We'll be back in Vietnam in a few days, but going to enjoy it. Probably head up tomorrow to Siem Reap, go check out Angkor Wat. And Phnom Penh has actually been a lot better than I remembered it. I'm enjoying it a lot more. Found some cool spots. Went to a really good French restaurant last night, and just around the corner here there was like an expat bar. Some kind of party was happening last night. Popped in there with some live music, which was really cool. And this part of the city is quite nice, but I think I stayed at the riverside before, and there's a little bit of seediness in that area, to put it one way. But around here there's some really good cheap street food. Downstairs got like $1 meal for lunch today, and you can get more fancy meals around here as well. So yeah, I got a super discounted rate. Like this hotel, this is the Penn House Hotel, and I think it's normally between like $150 to $350 per night, but we got like a discount to about $70. So I'll show you around a little bit in Cambodia, talk a bit about the teaching scene as well, so you can get a sense of what that could be like if you're planning to come teach in Cambodia. And Cambodia is a good option because it doesn't actually require you to have a bachelor's degree to teach here. So a lot of people consider teaching here in Cambodia as an alternative to Vietnam. We've actually helped quite a few people start teaching here, doing a TEFL course and coming out to Cambodia. Yeah, let me show you around a little bit more. Giant coconut. So a little bit more about the cost of accommodation on this trip. That hotel, $70 per night, was a 4-star hotel. So only stayed there for 2 nights. It's not something I normally do, staying in 4-star hotels, but the rest of the trip there were good accommodations between $20 to $40 per night. So you can actually find some really reasonably priced short-term accommodation in Cambodia. And like everywhere in Southeast Asia, there's also hostels and there's also 5-star hotels. So you can do it on pretty much any budget. And if you are traveling in Cambodia on a tight budget, it is probably one of the cheapest places you can travel in Southeast Asia. It's very cheap. For example, the bus from Phnom Penh up to Siem Reap, 6-hour bus ride, it was only $12, I think it was, and that was a very comfortable bus. Actually, it was a local company. It was very straightforward, better than the buses in Vietnam, to be honest. And it went up to Siem Reap, about 6 hours, I think it was. Quite an easy trip. So if you're flying into Phnom Penh and you want to visit Siem Reap, this is quite affordable to do. So I didn't spend much time in Phnom Penh on this trip because I have been a few times before. You can go check out the video I did on the killing fields there, which is quite a difficult experience, but very eye-opening if you want to do something like that. Gone down to the islands, I think I did a video on that too. But this time I got to go to Siem Reap for the first time, and Siem Reap is actually a really nice little town. It's not big, I mean it's a city, but it feels like a town. It is very much a tourist city because of Ankor Wat, and you know, I'm not sure what else really. I think just Ankor Wat basically, because Ankor Wat is huge. So before getting on to Ankor Wat, let me just mention the food in Cambodia. I really like the food in Cambodia. It is quite similar, I'd say, to Thai food in a lot of ways. There's a lot of curries, there's a lot of rice dishes, noodle dishes. Some of it is influenced by Thai. And you can see the Thai influence, like a lot of the places will serve tom yum soup and pad thai and stuff like that. But then you've got the local dishes like the sok curry, I think it's called, beef lok lak, a lot of different local dishes which are really good. And the prices are very cheap for local food. A lot of meals were just $1, especially at the local street food style places where you sit on the little red chairs along the street. Like in Vietnam, like in Thailand, street food in Cambodia is very common and it's good, it's cheap. Had quite a few dishes. But if you're going into a restaurant, you usually pay a little bit more, and I'd say most of the dishes were around $3. That seemed like the average, was a $3 dish for like a curry. Some of the Western breakfasts or the Western meals were a bit more, usually between like $3 and $5. We ordered something at the 4-star hotel that was like $6 or $7 maybe, but I would say more often around the $3 mark, and maybe $3 to $5 for more Western food like a burger or something like that. You might pay a little bit on the high end there. So overall, really cheap for food, some really good dishes throughout this trip. Yeah, I like Cambodian food. It's good. One thing that wasn't my favorite was crickets. Decided to try them, not my cup of tea, but you can also get, I think, fried scorpions. I didn't try those, but if you go down to Pub Street, which is the popular street in Siem Reap that has all the restaurants and bars and stuff, you can get all of that kind of stuff if you want to go give it a try. Oh, and another great thing that's changed over the last few years is now there is the Grab app, which is like Uber in Southeast Asia, and you can use it to get a tuk-tuk. So you can get a Grab tuk-tuk for really cheap, like it basically costs $1 to get anywhere. Obviously not just $1, but $1 to $3 to like get around to most places I found on this trip. And it's so much more convenient doing this, because in the past you would have to negotiate with tuk-tuk drivers, you'd have to figure out where you're going, if they know where to go. It was quite difficult, and to be honest, quite a lot of the tuk-tuk drivers would try and overcharge you. So nowadays, when you've got the app, it just makes it so convenient. You just call a tuk-tuk and you can get like anywhere, whether you're in Phnom Penh or Siem Reap. It makes things so much better. Okay, here at Angkor Wat in Cambodia, up in Siem Reap. Got here a couple of days ago, so I've been exploring around Siem Reap and finally been to see the famous Angkor Wat temple. It's amazing. It's really beautiful. We are here at the Cambodian New Year, so this is actually quite a busy day. There's been a lot of people. You can see they're actually about to close up right now. But it's nice that it's just locals here. I haven't really seen any other foreigners, a couple of other foreigners, but it's kind of cool to see it in its authentic state, just locals visiting. And I mean, it's really beautiful here. We've got the main temple and all of these surrounding temples here. So this is my first time up in Siem Reap, and I really like it up here. It's a nice chilled city. People drive really well. Sorry Vietnam, but they drive better than you here. It seems very laid back. Here's the ticket you get. I think it's like $37 for like a 2-day pass. It's supposed to be a 1-day pass and you get an extra day. And yeah, really liking Siem Reap. It's chilled, laid back. Everyone is super friendly in Cambodia. And I actually ended up in Siem Reap for the Cambodian New Year, which is in April. So it was quite funny. I actually experienced 3 New Years in the space of 3 months. The normal calendar New Year, then the Vietnamese Lunar New Year in February, and then this one in April. It was actually a lot of fun, and it turns out they do the same kind of thing as Songkran in Thailand. And if you don't know what that is, I have a video on it. It's an awesome big water gun fight in Thailand. Actually, those are some of my favorite videos I've ever made, actually, just because I ran around Thailand for a few days in one big water gun fight and made a video out of it, so it was awesome. But you can see here, this was also a lot of fun in Cambodia, same kind of thing. Everyone was out and about. There was music, food, people, complete chaos, but really fun. Okay, and then lastly, I'm not going to go deep into this, but yes, you can teach English as an ESL teacher. For those of you that don't know, that means you're teaching English to locals, which means you can get a TEFL or TEFL certification, which is a course that teaches you how to be an English teacher, and you can get a job teaching English to locals. In Cambodia, the salaries for a first-time teacher are going to be enough to live comfortably in the country. Most of the jobs are in Phnom Penh and some of the other provinces, not so much Siem Reap. Like I've mentioned a few times in different videos, there aren't many jobs in popular tourist cities in most countries in Southeast Asia. So you have to go for one of the bigger cities, or in a more unknown province. That's where most of the jobs are going to be. So don't shoot for Siem Reap, because you're going to be disappointed and probably not find work there. And as mentioned, it's a good location for those of you that don't have a bachelor's degree, because over in Vietnam, where we are based, you do need a bachelor's degree to teach legally, whereas Cambodia, it isn't required by the government, so it's a little bit less strict on the requirements. So if that's you and you want to teach English abroad in Asia, Cambodia is a good choice, as it's one of the few countries in Asia that you can actually teach in without a degree. So overall, if you're planning a trip to Cambodia or you want to come live and teach English in Cambodia, I enjoyed this trip a lot. I've enjoyed all my trips to Cambodia. The food, the people, the climate is very hot, so you have to get used to that. But yeah, I like Cambodia a lot, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more videos about living in Southeast Asia and teaching English out here. And I will speak to you soon in a new video. Peace.